Good morning, it's Rabbi Shlomo First here in Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi, here in Yerushalyim, HaKodesh, located in Rehov Zikron Yaakov number 6 and the Beit Knesset of Hanachi Yeshivas. We're close to the central bus station, so we can walk from there, take a bus. If you're driving, there's parking across the street, and especially if you're coming from food stores, please join us for a Shema to enhance your visit to Yerushalyim with as much Torah as possible. We're learning Pirkei Avos, our first year in the day, usually about 9 o'clock, and we're in the first parak in the 7th Mishnah. We've been actually discussing several different related points. We continue, and we spoke about last week. Shmuel Katan advised strongly against don't rejoice in your friends or actually your enemy's downfall. And we're actually in the middle of explaining that. We'll get back to that. But some of the things we're going to discuss now will be complementary. So we're going to go further into this next Mishnah, and we'll be going back to our point with Shmuel another year. Shmuel Katan Mitzvah Shem, if not towards the end of the week, but we'll be getting back to Mitzvah Shem. After learning these things, we'll become a little bit more clear exactly what and how to apply his teaching. Okay, let's start with the first citation. In the Torah, Omer. Yaakov, if you'd like to read, go ahead.
Natai ha'arbeli omer, harchek shechen ra, ha'al techaber l'rasha, ha'al tija'as min ha'pornut, and don't despair from punishment.
Okay, so we have three things that the Torah Arbeli is advising, that we should stay far from a shochin ra. Meaning, as we mentioned when we first learned this briefly, he's already a shochin, meaning he's already a neighbor of yours, right? Like for some reason you got into this situation where he's a neighbor of yours. Like I mentioned when I was engaged, so we're looking for an apartment. Those Shivas at Yerushalyim advised me two things when I got engaged. It says try to live as close to the Yeshiva as possible, and don't go into debt. Well, I'm able to fulfill that in general for most of my married life so far. So I was looking for an apartment here on the street. We found something which seemed to be suitable, but at that time, the neighborhood was half and half. So it was very crucial to know who your neighbors would be, right? So I asked Yeshiva, was it permissible on Shabbos night specifically, to go to the building where I was thinking of renting and go up and down the stairwell to see what kind of things are going on in the neighbors. Are they watching television? Are they yelling at each other? Are they seeing Shmiras Shabbos? Right? What's going on with it. So she said, it's mutter. I could even on Shabbos go and take a look at the property to see what it's like on Shabbos, to get a picture of the neighbors and what's going on. So in Baruch Hashem, we had a lovely, wonderful, she was a Persian woman. She was well into her 90s at the time. An old mother, but sedatus. And I remember it's interesting how they grew up with a whole different concept of what skias is. Many times if I would be going down out of the apartment, sometimes she'd be a floor ahead of me. She might have preceded me outside the house. I didn't know she was going out. She didn't know I was going out. Because we were on the 3rd floor. So she was walking down the steps, maybe a landing before me. And she'd hear that, whether she knew it was me coming down the steps or someone else coming down the steps. So she would stop. She would stop on the landing, and she would place herself in the corner of the landing, right? In the corner of the landing, as far as she could get into the landing, and let the person pass by. But she shouldn't be walking in front of ostensibly a man. She shouldn't walk in front of a man. That's how she obviously grew up. She was from Baghdad. I think she was Baghdad in Peru. So it's a whole different thing. And Baruch Hashem, my wife more than me, but my wife gained a lot by living next to and having a neighbor of such stature from the older generation, or even different culture. The culture of Persians and the old school. So you learn a lot from your neighbors, even if, in fact, simply with your neighbors. So here we're being taught that you have to be market for shofim, to stay away from a bad neighbor. I mean, unfortunately, you got yourself a bad neighbor, one way or the other. They are your neighbor by default, whatever happens. You have to stay away from that. We'll get more involved with that. And you shouldn't seek out to join, connect with the Russia. And finally, as you said, don't give up hope on, don't despair from paramidas, from calamities. And then we're going to have several different meanings of that. We're going to go into this last thing first, because that's going to relate to what we were discussing with Shmuel and Katan. So let's see Rashi's parish on this.
Rashi and Avos, paragraph Aleph.
Yeah.
All teacher is mean pornot. Don't despair from punishment. What does it mean?
How should we translate calamities? Calamities, suffering, calamities.
Remember from Art Scroll, retribution.
Retribution is very Art Scroll.
Yeah, okay, but it could be. We'll see. We're going to get to the Sefer Issue. We'll see about that. I
When I think calamity, I think a different short ratio. I think it's like Aleph Lamed something.
Okay, let's take a look. If you look, there's another. In the English Art Scroll, you have in the fifth pair, Shiva Midi Purana is Bol Olam. There are 7 types of Puranias that come to the world.
Yeah.
So let's see how they try to translate that over there. That's in the 5th parak of Avos, and it's in this edition of mine. It's called the 10th Mishnah. It's pretty much in the middle of the parak. Yeah, towards the first half. It's maybe a third, the first third of the Mishnah, and the parak there, the 5th parak, Aronios.
Uncultivated person?
No, that's on Aretz.
Punishment?
Punishment, yeah. What does it say there?
7 kinds of punishment come to the world for 7 kinds of transgressions?
Yeah, that's what they say. They say it's punishment, Puranias. They say it's punishments. Okay, punishments, but I prefer calamities without the emotional tags on it.
I'll have to rely upon your definition of friendly, because mine I don't even see in the English calculator, so I have to temporarily demur. What's the word?
Okay.
You defer to him.
Retributions, I prefer to stay away from the emotional tonations of retributions. Just like calamity, Puranias. They're obviously they're not things you look forward to, they're not things you're enjoying, obviously, but they're misfortunes, maybe misfortunes.
I often see this short associated with punishment, though. Isn't pei resh ayin often associated with punishment?
It could be. Puranias could be. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see.
It seems like it's saying it's punishment because of the transgression. There's a correlation.
That's right. That's right. Yes. Yeah, that's clear. That's clear. Look, also the Ramchal says this. He says all suffering is because of actually because it's a kapara. It's not punishment. We get the feeling that punishments are Hashem's not HaKodesh Baruch Hu is not interested in just punishing. People suffer because they have to be cleansed of their. That's part of the reason why we fast on Yom Kippur. We don't want to make it difficult for us. Part of the difficulties of not eating and drinking, not wearing shoes, and all the other things is because we bring sufferings upon ourselves, and those sufferings are in part of our achieving our Torah. or atonement. So the suffering is meant to cleanse a person from, because obviously people have things that they transgressed in one way or the other, and so they need some type of cleansing from that.
So that's why you don't like the word punishment.
Yeah.
Because it's not a punishment, it's a cleansing.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be, this is a whole...
Is that what we're talking about?
This is like a meta topic, which we're going to be getting into slowly but surely, because we have to understand how we're going to, what we were discussing with Shmuel Katan, that you're not supposed to rejoice over your enemy's downfall. So here your enemy is having something bad happen to him, right? So how are we supposed to rate? How are we supposed to understand what Shmuel Katan is telling us? So we have to understand the whole general concept of suffering and people having misfortune and all these kind of things, and then we have to understand, why should you be happy, and maybe, what happened to Yamsu, if we're going to get into that, and come back to that, and the whole thing. So Mitzvah Shem, let's take it slow. So Piranhas could be that they're coming because of retributions that have to be paid back because of sins, or punishments that have to come because of things, whatever reason the HaKodesh has. But without the emotional tagging, that they're calamities. They're I don't know, not exactly disasters, but we'll see. Let's see how we're going to go through a lot of different. Unfortunately, we'll see. But sometimes we'll be maybe to get a more clear understanding of it. Hopefully, what it means.
If you are wealthy, don't trust in your wealth. לפי שהפורענות ממהרת
לבוא.
Because punishment, calamity is hurrying to come.
Right, it'll be quick in coming because it's going to be. So even if for this is Rashi. Rashi is saying that if a person is a rich person, he shouldn't place any faith in his rich wealth, because the Piranhas, right, the retributions, the calamities are quick to come. Therefore,
every hour you should be
all the time. I mean, kol shah, shah is usually like an hour, but like kol shah, you should constantly, like all the time.
The pachad, in fear. The Cain hu omer, Ashrei Adam mepachad tamid. I think this is Tehillim.
Or Mishnah. It could be Mishnah or one gift I can tell you.
Happy.
One right there. There's one from there. Go ahead, keep going.
Asher Adam Epachat Tamid V'Kain Im Alecha Ra'a, and thus if evil comes upon you, Al Titayish Titayish, you will not despair. Because you're ready for it. If you're always in fear and trepidation, when something bad happens to you, you'll be ready. You'll be ready for it.
Be prepared.
Yeah, you'll be prepared.
Be prepared.
Lefi Yeshua.
Mishlei Chavches. I'm not sure which pasuk, but it's Mishlei Chavches.
Lefi Yeshua Krova. Therefore, salvation is near, leva, to come. If you're always in fear, trepidation, and etc. The kalamar.
I think it's kach haya omrim. I think and so it is said. The kach haya omrim.
Hein lo k'tzara yad Hashem mi ha-yeshia.
Ma-Yoshia.
Me-Hoshia.
In redemption from redeeming.
Behold, the hand of Hashem is not short. Is not short from salvation.
Okay, so let's just review what Rashi is saying. We're learning the first mimer here on the top of the page. There you have Barely on the Harakik Mishaking Rav, which should distance himself from a bad neighbor. Vatis Kaber, the Russia shouldn't connect, associate with a evil person. Vatis Yaishmin Apunish, the person should not despair from retributions or from calamities. Right? So Rashi says, if you see the second citation, what does it mean you shouldn't, Altis Yaishmin Apunish? Let's say a person is a rich person. You shouldn't have any faith in your wealth. Because it's something which in Peronius can come very quickly. Any time you should be, all the time you should be fakid. You should be constantly fearful, because it says Ashri Adam Fakid Tami. A person who's fortunate if he's always concerned. He's always concerned what's going to be. He can't have faith in anything that he has. Don't have any faith in what's going to be with this world. Anything that's physical, the Maharal Mopad says it has to come to an end. So you don't have any faith in what's in this world, and you have to be constantly fearful that things could change. And also, when it comes upon a person, things that are not good, right? Don't give up hope. Because the redemption, the saving of the situation shall also be quick to come. That's what many people say. Hashem's hand is not lacking when it comes to bringing salvation. HaKodesh can bring salvation. Even against, the darkest times, the most difficult times, right? Don't give up hope, right? So basically you have two pshatim Rashi's bringing down. Altis Yaismin Aponish means number one, don't think that things are going to be always hunky-dory, great. Don't think they're always going to be great, right? Things could happen and change at any moment, right? That's number one. So don't give up on Peronius. Don't think that they're not going to come. Right? You have to constantly think and remember that they can and very well will come. On the other hand, another way, if they're in the midst of, a person's in the midst of Peronius, he shouldn't give up hope that the salvation shall come. At the same time, don't despair because of the. So two shani, don't despair. That's the second shot. Don't despair from them. If the person's in the middle of Peronius, don't despair. Don't give up hope that the situation will change. And on the other hand, right, don't give up. Don't think that they're not going to come. Don't think that it's going to. You're above and beyond it. We'll see more about that. Okay, let's now go to the parish of the Mishnah and the Rambam.
Excuse me 1 second.
Sure.
Before we go further, okay, so Parak Aleph Mishnah Zion.
Right.
We read the Mishnah.
Right.
Then the first was a commentary by Rashi on that specific Mishnah.
Correct.
Now we're going to read a commentary from the Rambam on that Mishnah.
Correct.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Amar, says Rambam, She'im if you sin, or tira chate, or if you see a sin, al tiftach v'tomer, don't trust and say Hashem ye'enosh ba'olam haba bilvad. Don't say that Hashem will punish in Olam Haba only. Ela al tija'esh min ha'pornut b'olam hazeh al hachetahu. Rather, you should say to yourself, don't despair from calamity, punishment, b'olam hazeh, concerning that sin.
So the Rambam is speaking a little more specifically. He's saying that if a person himself did a chet, or he saw someone else do a chet, a person shouldn't be confident. Al tiftach, don't be confident, and Tomer and say that Hashem's going to give the punishment only in Olam Haba. Meaning in this world there's not going to be any punishment. Don't say that, because right, Allah al tisyayish min pronis b'olam hazeh. Don't give up hope and feel that there's not going to be any retribution, punishment, calamities taking place in this world because of the chet. Meaning the punishment for the chet, right? There are two aspects. Just like there's two aspects to reward. There's olam haba and olam hazeh, right? In terms of punishments, in terms of when sins are done, there are ramifications that it can take place in olam haba and also in olam hazeh. So don't think that it's going to be completely put aside, whatever consequences will be because of a certain specific sin. Those consequences were going to be set aside for the next world. No, a person should not think that this world is going to continue on, and as it is, irregardless of what various sins people have done. Yeah. So that's also a little bit of a way of understanding that it's connected. See, Rashi didn't mention anything that it was connected to a sin, right? The Rambam is now mentioning the consequences of Pranas coming because of sins. Okay. Now let's see. This is the base of the Bechira. That's the Meiri, the third commentary you have there on your page.
Brit is
Brisa.
Brisa. Brisa be'avot
Rabbi Nassan.
Nassan.
And he's bringing down, as we said it very originally, the Avos to Rabbi Nassan is similar to it's based along the same Mishnayos of the Mishnayos and Pirkei Avos. But it's more like, it's not exactly, but it's more like a Gemara on the Mishnayos in Avos. So it's very similar. It quotes many of the similar statements that are made in Avos, but it brings down different insights into the statements that were made in Avos.
Veritat?
Yeah.
I'll teach you Ace Adam min haporniut. Elam Yehei Adam mitpachad b'chol yom v'yomer oy li shama hayom tavo alai. He should be fearful every day and say, "Woe is me, lest the day brings this upon me." Or, Allah, it appears to say.
Yeah, Allah, right. Shema hayom tavo alav pranis. He should say to himself every day, and he should be fearful every day, and say to himself, "Oy is me, woe is me," that maybe today there'll become pranis will come upon me. Right? I could say that a person can go crazy thinking about life like if you look at this, if you look at life like this, you can actually maybe become depressed, go crazy, whatever. This is not what you normally everyone be happy and everything like this. But we're gonna see soon. I don't know if I have a chance today to see it, but actually this type of attitude is the proper attitude, and it actually saves people from being depressed. It really saves people. People who think that everything is what they call Megilli, everything is coming to me, everything, life has to be good. Where is this assumption that life has to be good? Right? Why do they think that they're the most righteous people in the world, that the life have to, they're not going to be more righteous than Moshe Rabbeinu, they're not going to be more righteous than Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And you look at their lives, their lives were filled with all kinds of difficulties. David and Melech, who was more righteous, who was a prophet, who was greater than David and Melech. Right? All the great Hasidim, the closest ones to HaKodesh Baruch Hu, that didn't save them from having what we call a good life. The Gemara in Bracha says David and Melech didn't even have a good dream in his whole life. All he had was bad dreams. Wow. Imagine going to sleep every night expecting bad dreams, nightmares and stuff. So wherever people get this idea, that everything's supposed to, and then when when they have to wait for a bus an extra 10 minutes, the whole day is gone, and that's what they're getting depressed about. They're getting really what's causing them their depression is because things aren't going the way they properly think it's supposed to be going their way. Who says it's supposed to be going their way? Even in Disney World, you got to wait online. You want to go to the rides on Disney World, you got to wait online too. And it rains in Disney also. This world, even though they think it's Disney World, but You're not going to get away from the lines in Disney World itself. Even if you want to buy, they have two kinds of tickets you can buy in Disney World. You have a fast pass, but still you got to wait on that. No one gets in straight. No one gives away. Anyway, yeah, just what do you say?
If Hashem loves a person who gives a sermon to right, Hashem loves it. Hashem is a person of a sermon.
Yeah.
Shows that he loves him very much.
Yeah, it shows Hashem that he's caring about the person. He doesn't want him to. The Yisurim, the difficulties in life are because the HaKodesh Baruch Hu is paying attention to the person. It's not ignoring him. They say about the Nachash, right, that one of the clothes of the Nachash, right, that it should go on its belly and it should eat dust. Eat dust, right? So you might think that that's really a real bracha. Everywhere it goes, it's got its food, right? It's right there down at the bottom, and it's got wherever it smears around, it's got its food, right? But that's the worst clothes. Hashem is saying He doesn't want to have any shaykhs to you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. You don't have to have anything to do with me. You're completely cast off. That was the worst call.
Nothing was to you. Nothing to do with you.
Yeah, if your woe is me, oh my gosh, today that might light a little fire under me to try and make it not happen a little bit.
Exactly, right? There's going to be an incentive to try and be as good as you can and to improve and to do tshuva for everything that might have happened, right? And then that way you ward these things off. Right? These things don't come upon you. Right? It's like
Our whole is always a backup plan, throughout the year, after Yom Kippur, people do their layers, right? I say today.
People are people, yeah, they're not supposed to, but
to have a backup plan.
Yeah, for sure.
So, if something goes wrong, also Hashem help you. You have plans, you try and...
That's why learning Torah is the best thing, because you're learning what you're supposed to do. You're always constantly improving. You're always learning something new and to improve and to do better.
Torah is mechab all the layers, right?
Yeah.
As long as it has the wrong intentions.
Well, why is the vav next to the
Allah, because it's sometimes you have different girsas. It could be that he says a person shouldn't say oili. He's talking in the first person, so it really should be Allah, right? But in the context of the greater paragraph, it's like he's explaining about people in general. But Allah is the more genuine format.
I'm actually learning Pirkei Avos Rabbi Nassim right now, and there's two. The main body of the text is sort of like the accepted version, but then on the side column is basically alternate version.
Right.
So now, I guess when I get back, I'll see if the vav is on the alternate version. Because I seem to remember it saying a lie in the text.
Okay. Very good. Let's finish this up. Yeah.
I'm not sure what hey does.
Hu hadin.
Hu hadin.
Hu hadin, and likewise.
And likewise, Hu hadin asher adam lipachet tamid v'yesh.
Should perish. They explain. Yesh should perish. They explain.
Perush. V'yesh perush al azharat concerning the warning. Hanefesh shelo yitga'eh, should not become arrogant. Yeroto hatzlachato, his success. V'yit bonein kima Hashem hayta. He should understand that everything was from Hashem.
Kima Hashem Haisaloi, and everything that comes from him from Hashem.
And in his hand, Lishanot 18.
Eating in this case, like Lashon is eating, let's change the situation, right?
Oh, Lishanot, okay.
To change.
Right, to change.
Literally means times, but Zmanim means also times. Lahachli, Shanos is to change the situations, And a hachnim zmanim is to switch, also switch the times, meaning the situation.
Yeah.
Zmanim and shanos, itim and zmanim, it's very close.
The same thing.
Yeah, basically. So, some level it must be different. Some level must be different. But, So that's what a person should think. A person shouldn't become prideful and think, well, he's achieved something, right? And he somehow got it by himself. Or even if he doesn't think that he somehow got it by himself, he might think since he got it, right? Since he got it, he's going to keep it, right? And that's not true. Just like Hashem gave it to you, right? Hashem can take it away. That's actually one of the kavanas in Birkas Kohanim we had in last week's parsha, right? The parsha of Birkas Kohanim, right? So if I'm not mistaken, Nafshi says, let's take a quick look to see inside. Birkas Kohanim. Okay, actually, I think it was 2 weeks ago, no? It was calling this 2 weeks ago.
It's not the last parsha, it's the previous parsha. So
Yeah,
it's
it's 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Makes 3 brachos. So, Yishmarecha. What does it mean, Yishmarecha? Yeah, there are 3 brachos. It says here, this is 2 weeks ago, the partial 2, so Yirech Hashem Yishmarecha, V'yir'er Hashem Panav Elecha V'kunecha, Yisra Hashem Panav Elecha V'yasem L'cha Shalom. So Rashi explains here, what are some of the kavanas? There are many more kavanas than Rashi brings down, but some of the kavanas are that, Yishmarecha, right? It says, Yivarechecha v'yishmarecha. Yivarechecha yivarechu nechasecha. Your belongings, your possessions should be blessed. Right? Konim were blessing you that your possessions should have bracha, blessing in them. V'yishmarecha, and they should be guarded, protected. What does it mean? Rashi says v'yishmarecha, they should be guarded, protected. Shelo yavu olav shodidim litu mamoncha. Anosin that the Kohanim are giving you a bracha that robbers shouldn't come and take away from you what's been given to you, right? Now what's different? Rashi says like this: "Sha'anoisei metana, right, la'abdo, eni yochel shomro." We call it. Let's say a person has a servant or a friend, right? He gives him a present. Giving the present is one thing, but that's as far as it goes. He can't protect the receiver of the recipient of the gift from losing the gift in one way or another. People come and steal it from him, right? Meaning he gave a gift, but the robbers could come and take it away from him. Yeah, right? So he said, so what's the hana yesh lo b'matanazu? So if that's the case, what kind of gift did benefit did he get from the gift? Like Rabbi Tusky, one of my rabbis, Zatzal used to say, all these people win lotteries, right? So, first of all, when you look at the statistics, most of them don't do well after even though they get thousands and hundreds or whatever it might be that they're winning, their lives don't change for the better. And not only that, usually two kinds of people are looking after these things: the tax collectors and the robbers. Right? So they're trying to people are trying to get their money. They know this guy got rich quick, so he's gonna, just like he comes, he's gonna go quickly. So he's attracting attention to himself, and the people are gonna try and swindle away from him one way or the other, this and that. Right? So that's the point. The person can get a matana, but he can't protect it. Well, in contrast, Aval HaKodesh Baruch Hu, the Rebbeinu Shalom, who knows saying, who HaShomer, right? The HaKodesh Baruch Hu is the one who gives, and the HaKodesh Baruch Hu is the one who guards it. The same HaKodesh Baruch Hu gave you something, the same HaKodesh Baruch Hu who's going to guard it. That's what the Kohen is saying, Yishmerecha. He's going to guard it. You're going to get, you should be blessing with it, that you get. Yishmerecha, it'll be guarded. Hashem should guard you and make sure that what you have gotten from Hashem is not going to be lost. That's exactly what the Meiri is saying over here, right? You know, he said, okay, just again, V'yesh ala zaras hanefesh. There's also an explanation that is given that it's a warning that a person should not yizgaya, a person should not become prideful. Beroso hatzlachaso. He should become prideful in that he's had a certain success, a material success, let's say, right? Rizbonim, he should remember, keep in mind, Kima Hashem Haisa Biyado Lishona Se'itim Vachlim Shonim. Just like Hashem, who was the one who gave it to him, he put it Haisa Biyado, he put it into his hand. He, HaKodesh Baruch, can also change things from one way to the other. So Hashem, that's what's right. That's the contrast of what Rashi is saying here. Just like Hashem gives, he can also guard. Right? Just as the Nabir is saying, just like Hashem gives, he can take away. Okay, so you see, these we have to constantly remember. Ashrei Adam Lafake Tamid. You should be constantly fearful that these things could happen, and therefore they'll pray that they don't. But be careful not to do anything with a danger or anything like that, by doing Averas or something like that. And we'll be successful, Mitzvah Hashem. We'll continue tomorrow.
Amen.
Question on the Rashi and the